Not just technologies, but for sure the systems will change. If you look on the energy systems, this is the type of energy system that we already seeing in many countries evolving, is that the energy becomes more kind of plug and play. I mean, now it's very rigid, and don't put your hands there because that's dangerous. But in future, it's more plug and play. You may have your energy system. Here, an example of solar energy, solar photovoltaic, solar electricity. You're providing all your electricity yourself and maybe selling the surplus to the grid, loading your car with electricity. Electric vehicle loaded by your electricity. You need a smart grid. You need the smart grid smartness in order to think on, let's say, millions of small units. In Germany, there's already about 2 million solar photovoltaic systems, solar cells in houses. And you need kind of more smartness to orchestrate this kind of energy system. So smart energy, smart systems, that's what's coming out. The built environment itself. Built environment will be very important. And we're very often thinking on our conditions in the Nordic or Baltic Sea region. This is a built environment. By 2030, they said that 70% of world population will be in urban structures. So urban energy is important. And just take an example for China. Chinese are pretty much putting efforts in eco-cities. Eco-cities which produce, by the way, not just their energy by themselves, but also food production. So transport, food, energy, locally produced. Ecological footprint, carbon footprint, almost zero. The Chinese scale. Dongtan as an example, but we have cities in Tianjin where they think of cities of about 500,000 people, like Helsinki, or thinking of cities like Finland, 5 million people in an eco-city. These cities use about 70% less energy than our cities here in the Northern Hemisphere, which we think, we think very often that our cities are very efficient. So this is a trend, putting energy into the urban structures. Half of all energy, half of all the big problems in energy environment comes from the urban energy. So this is for sure an important segment. And let me just give an example. This is one early test that we did in Finland about 10 years, 15 years ago. This works also in our climates, not just in the Chinese climate, to show that. And one of the underlying important, I would say, opportunities that we have in new technologies is really that science and innovation may play a very important role for leapfrogging and making breakthroughs. Very often we think that the world is linear. That's what we think. It's a linear world, but the world is not linear, it's non-linear. And I think science and innovation has very much more to provide than it ever did in energy. So you need to watch on materials, nanotechnology, bio, IT. That's where, when that comes to energy, that may be, you may foresee fantastic changes in the whole energy branch. Just to give an example, what science could provide in the future is solar cells. Making solar cells like paper or metal sheets, roll-to-roll processes. Just as an experiment, that think that we have this kind of roll-to-roll. That's already small scale. Roll-to-roll is that we have a metal substrate, steel sheet, and let's make our solar cell in that produces electricity. If I would devote 20% of world steel production to these things here, and coating that steel with photovoltaic material, in 7 years' time, you would change the whole world energy from 0 to 100% solar. So it shows the power of, if you are able to mass produce something, if you come close to consumers, this is consumer energy, it means that there may be kind of very strong accelerating forces. For sure, the cost is very important here. And costs are coming down with photovoltaics. Just elaborate slightly on that one, more on this solar photovoltaics, solar cells, solar electricity, that's the technology. Let's look on the next picture here. Here is the curve for present market penetration of solar cells. I mean, this is going through the attic, I guess, in a few years. The growth last year was 100%. It's going very fast. And somewhere, I mean, it will level off for sure here. But what does it mean when volume goes up? Well, it does mean that when volume increases, you get economies of scale effects. The price of solar photovoltaics is coming down. It has been halved in 2 years. The Chinese say by 2030 they will again halve. And if they do that, by 2013, solar electricity could be a viable option in most parts of the world. So think on the possibility that solar electricity would be cheaper than the, let's say, ordinary electricity. Where would you invest? Would that be in nuclear or coal power? Think on that. So that's where you may foresee big breakthroughs. And then let's say, if that happens, if global breakthrough, and costs are very important, if the costs come down enough, you don't need any Kyoto agreement anymore. You need maybe agreement of technology transfer. But if a new technology, clean technology, is cheaper than the old dirty one, there will be a penetration by itself. And I think this is important to recognize that we are close with many of the technologies, like biotechnology, bioenergy, solar, wind is very close to a breakthrough. Ladies and gentlemen, just moving then to what's the implication of this? If we have this kind of curve that goes up, 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 these are new industries, new technologies, it has a very, I would say, important link to our economic prosperity, to job creation, to growth. And I may remind you about the European Union 2020 strategy, in which growth, when we speak about growth, is mainly green growth. So when Europe looks on growth, I think the same is in the US. The same is more and more in China. China is shifting from a mass production country to a technology country. And green technology, clean tech, that's one of the key issues. A clean kind of a focus and a core of the growth. To Europe, they think we need to combine energy, climate, jobs, innovation, industry as a package. Look separately. Let's have a package. And what do we get here then when we've done that? What's the results? You may ask, well, again, ask yourself, oh, this is following 2020, that's long away, you have the problems. Well, let's see what the Germans did. The Germans did this experiment already 10 years ago. They linked energy, climate, jobs, creation much more together than any of the countries. And let's just look on the Germans. They have the so-called feed-in tariff. It's the main policy instrument. Feed-in tariff means that you give a preferential position to new technologies like biogas, solar energy, wind energy. And you give them a guaranteed price. Guaranteed price. That's what they did. And what they get as an outcome, very interesting things. Let me just pick one of these things is that 2009, 2 years ago, German consumers, it's you here, we invested in Germany more in solar energy than the whole 4 largest electric utilities in Germany in any electricity production. So it means that if you get the innovations to the consumers, you consumerize energy. You may have people, local actors that really capture this technology. And solar energy in Germany is about 2–3% of the electricity. It's very much, so that's not a negligible factor. What more important about the jobs? You may think, well, German subsidizes, etc. Okay, we will discuss about that. But they created jobs in 10 years in renewable energy, more than we have unemployed in whole Finland. More than 300,000 working opportunities. And each of the fields, solar, wind, or bioenergy, how things, there are. Wind, solar, bio. In each of the fields, there's more working places, jobs than the whole Finnish forest industry. So the green gold, which is the Finnish forest, in the future will for sure be the green energy. That's something to look on again. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairman, Mrs. Chairman, just finalizing my talk, I'm jumping to something that is for sure very close to our heart here in the Baltic Sea region. And I know that Mr. Jussi will talk more about this after me. I think what is important to recognize that the Baltic Sea region, this is not kind of just some kind of a arrangement. I think the Baltic Sea region within Europe could have a much larger role in energy, in clean energy or in clean tech. And I'm just justifying that by saying that if you look on energy use, we use about 30% of all energy in Europe. We produce actually almost half of the energy of Europe. So we produce a lot of energy. A lot of energy goes through the Baltic region. And I think it's important to recognize that our countries here around are very benign for innovations. In terms of innovation, R&D investments of GNP, this region is much above the average of Europe. So we innovate, we have energy is important. And now the question is why not put that together in a more stronger way? Because we know that the new future industries, much of the future industries will be based on green energy. We have green energy, we have innovation, and we have good experiences of collaboration. And let me just give an example of collaboration. Very often we think that collaboration is just on innovation, technological innovation. You collaborate on doing a gadget or on R&D. Collaboration may be also on system innovations, social innovations, and I think the Nordic electricity market. We go to the market, it's a common market, we have a common kind of grid even. We can sell power to our neighbors, there's a common pool for reserve power. I mean, the Norwegian and the Swedish hydropower, that's kind of big battery. So if a lot of wind energy, big battery in Norway, and Sweden take care of any fluctuations. This is very simple. I mean, you don't need much money, and you have a big system innovation here which solves the key question with intermittent energy sources like wind. If it doesn't blow, what do we do? This innovation solves totally that question, so that we could use even fourth of the energy from wind energy. Let me also just close by saying about the research initiatives, again, just to remind about for sure, each of your countries around the Baltic Sea region have a lot of efforts in innovation. And we have even some joint efforts. But I think, finally, just finalizing, I think the effort, just to hand over my thoughts to the next speaker, I think is that one of the big challenges in the Baltic Sea region is really that I think we haven't yet really found the full justification for a very profound cooperation. I think in cooperation lies one of the opportunities of this region. We are small people here. We are large resources. It will be more collaborative, I think, in terms of green tech or clean tech. I think there would be huge opportunities and benefits for our countries and also our cities. With this verse, I thank you very much for your attention.